A Way of Life. I hope everybody had a good weekend. Just wanted to come on here and talk a little bit about investing. I've been studying and researching investing for a while now. I follow Shaquille O'Neal. I like his investment advice. I follow Jeff Bezos. I like his investment advice. And Boyce Watkins. He was a college professor. He currently has his own business teaching financial literacy. I really like him because he's able to give down to earth practical examples of investing, which is really helpful. I just downloaded the Acorns app and Robinhood. I like Robinhood because the language on there is easy to understand. Um, and they have, a lot of helpful information on, how to invest and what to invest in. I like Acorns app because they have a roundup program. Um, Anytime you make a purchase, it'll round it up to the dollar, take that change and invest it for you, which is really dope. I'm still learning and understanding what it means to invest, but for the most part, the one thing that has become very, very clear to me is the importance of having multiple streams of income. Originally, when I had learned about investing, I thought, oh, yeah, you put money away to save to have further down the line before you can have money to spend for yourself. And for the most part, that's pretty true. That is the purpose of investments. But not all investments have to be that way. You can invest and have a payout a lot sooner than further down the line. It really has a lot to do with how you set it up, what your purpose is for it. And, there's just a lot more that goes into that. Um, but it's typically set up for something like a goal that you have that you want to achieve. You put away pockets of money for those certain goals, right? Um, for example, say you have a side business or a side hustle or a business, same thing to me. Um, so you would use your business money, whatever you make for your business, put that away and use that to travel. Um, and these are just examples. Please do not take any of what I'm saying as real ways to invest or how to use your money. I'm just really using examples to help you understand exactly what it means to have multiple streams of income. So you have your business money, you got money coming in, you're taking that money and you're saving it, and that's what you use when you want to travel, right? Um, and then you have your job, your everyday job, your weekly, monthly, bi-monthly, bi-weekly checks that you get should be used for like donating, investing, and savings. Why am I saying that? Um, right now, they have two apps I think that really describe this really well, Venmo and Patreon. A lot of people who are like, I want to call them starving artists. That's just how I think of business people, specifically people who have businesses who aren't, very popular. They're like, you know, um, creative endeavors, right? Hobbies turned into a business. There's a lot of that on YouTube. So they use Venmo and Patreon where you have the option to do like monthly payments, weekly payments. You can set them up in a rotation of payments, which is really interesting and it really helps you change the way you think of using your money. Um, um, So when I say donating, you would have your weekly checks and you should be giving back, right? That's something that we all would like to do. Have a company, organization, that you support, that you think is doing really great, that you want to be able to give back to. And yeah, it's great to be able to give once in a while, but when you really begin to understand money and how it works, you could actually donate every so often. However you want to set that up, whether it be weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly, whatever. Um, and then you can also use that the your job money for investing, continually investing in these bigger investments. And then savings. They say typically in the financial world, um, if you don't have $1,000 just to save without even having to tip into that money like at all, that you are not considered financially stable. So think about that for a minute. Um, and then, you have your taxes. Taxes used to pay your bills. Why am I saying use your taxes to pay your bills? So if anybody has renter's insurance, I think they provide really good example of why it's important to pay your bills yearly. So if you have renter's insurance, they'll tell you, and I don't know if these numbers are right, by the way, I'm just playing with numbers to give you examples again. So, say if you have to get renter's insurance, and they say, oh, okay, so it's $1,000 for the entire year, and you go, well, I don't have $1,000, right? Like, who has $1,000 just to give, to pay your yearly bill? And they go, okay, well, you can do it quarterly and you'll pay $600. Um, and even then you're like, I don't have $600 to put down on no bill, to pay whatever. And then they'll tell you you have your monthly payment, and that equals out to whatever equals to $1,000 in 12 months, right? So the reason I am bringing this up, I think it is very, very important to have to make your bills, um, to pay your bills yearly, because they'll explain to you, you know, okay, so say you agree to pay their monthly payment, obviously because it's cheaper, it's something that you can afford. But then what they'll tell you is that, if you pay monthly, quarterly, you're being charged interest when you make those payments that way. But if you pay yearly, it's just that one flat fee, and no additional interest. Another really good example of this is real estate, and why it's more important, and probably would save you a lot more money, which most people have no clue about. I'm personally just learning about this stuff. Is to have a home is probably better than renting, because you have your mortgage that you pay. That's that one fee, and then but you'd be saving money if you paid that mortgage as opposed to paying rent every month. um I don't I just don't think a lot of people know that and understand that. But the more you get into this, the more you begin to understand the reasons why you're probably better off making yearly payments than you are doing monthly. um then you also have, life insurance. I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory. Um, and then you have your 401k. Also, these are things that now that you know what your 401k is for your retirement. Although, what I will say is the reason that I got two different apps, um, is because I want one for specifically for retirement. I don't know how many times we've heard people say that they got, I think it's 65 is the age of retirement. You get to that age, and they still don't have enough money to live the rest of their life without having to work again. Um, you know So you might want to have a backup. Um, and then, you have credit cards. So and let's just say, for example, you got two. And you might use one specifically for business expenses, and then you use the other specifically for car expenses, gas. It's probably not a good idea to use a credit card for that. Again, I'm don't take any of what I'm saying for face value. I'm just giving you examples. Maybe a better example is you use the second credit card for to buy your clothes, or get just to have clothes every year for the kids or something. I don't know. But just so that you have an understanding of, the reason why it's so important to have multiple streams of income. I hope that was really clear, and that gave you a broader understanding of the importance of that. It's really unfortunate that, people in their 30s might think of this as not being an option because, you know, you'll be like 60 before you could spend any of that money. But remember, there are ways to get money sooner. You don't have to, wait until, it's further down the line. There could be a payout sooner rather than later. Um, um, and really, I think the answer to all that, in my professional opinion, is to start teaching your kids. If you really want to, um, you know, resolve that issue of not being able to use that money further down the line, get your kids started now. Um, at 9 years old, that is not too young. For them to begin to start understanding what it means to invest. I think that all kids should have three different investments by the time they're age 24. And when I say have them, I mean already at a point where so you start investing at 9. Um, um, and just another food for thought. What I think a really big thing that we missed growing up as kids is what Monopoly was for. When I think of investing in multiple streams of income, I don't think we knew that Monopoly was teaching us this. Remember that game, Monopoly? Was definitely teaching you the importance of multiple streams of income and what it means to invest. Um, you know, yeah. Um, I also have a real estate investment. I'm a part of a real estate investment group, I should say. Um, and I have Guap Coin. So Bitcoin's going to be a really big thing coming up. I advise you to do your research and get familiar with that and start investing before they start laying down laws and rules about that and really messing up folks' money, which our country is really good at. But one thing I just wanted to say, add to this is, you know, I don't know if you know, um, every time you learn something new, your brain creates a new neuron. Um, that neuron will connect to other neurons in your brain, which helps you understand. Um, it helps you materialize. It makes things tangible in your brain once they start connecting and making these connections, and you'll start seeing and understanding things differently to materialize, um, or manifest. Um, why am I saying this? I think a really good example of this is, if you I don't know if anybody's ever bought a car. You know, you go through all this research, you're thinking about it constantly, you know what color you want, you know how the interior is supposed to look. When you start doing the research and reading and looking at the car after car after car after car, and then you get that car, and all of a sudden, now you see that freaking car everywhere. Does that mean all of a sudden that that car just appeared? No. But the idea of it is to show and describe, you know, what it means to teach yourself, um, read, learn, research, and how that helps you manifest in your life over a period of time. Um, you'll see this in marketing tools, and you probably don't even know that this is what they use, the knowledge they use to get people to buy things in the commercials. The reason why commercials constantly repeat, 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 because they know if you constantly keep seeing this and taking this information in, you will materialize their plan, their agenda, their goal, um, their project, you know, whatever it is. Um, if you look up the word abracadabra in the dictionary, it is I speak, therefore I create, or therefore I am. You know, those are your I am affirmations, your positive affirmations. That's why people say, you know, don't say bad things, they just might come true. And this is really deep, and I hope that this is making sense and somebody's can appreciate what it is I'm saying. But to understand this information this way, I hope that you understand that you have the power to manifest your reality, whether you see it that way or not. Um, this is um, the reason why it's so important to teach your kids now. Um, you know, kids are still really at a very young age. They're still, you know, they're not inundated by a lot of the information and things that adults are. So they understand things differently. They're still kind of pure. I think a lot of the times kids get really upset with parents because we don't understand each other anymore, because parents have now all this information they've been inundated with. Meanwhile, kids are still more free, creative to think and be, you know, they still believe that they have, you know, the power to create, and be creative. And the reason why that's so important. So when I say get your kids involved, get your family involved, sit down, do your research with your family. Um, Allow them to understand what it means to invest and why it's important. If they want to buy these name brand shoes like Nikes and I don't know, Reeboks, I don't know, it's been a while. They should own a piece of that, you know, and essentially that's what investing is. So they should be able to do the research on Nike or Reebok. You know, why do they want to invest in that company? Is it a good investment? You know, is it something that's going to gain them interest? Is it valuable? Right. And this really, I think, teaches them to understand the importance of value in themselves and the choices that they make. It may be somewhat, and I shouldn't really say that, late for people who are already a lot older to learn, which is not really true, but in a sense. But the kids, I think, really is the answer to making that ideology not true anymore. Start with the kids, and this is how you get generational wealth, because now they're going to grow up a lot sooner having money to spend and do things with. Um, and then they can teach their kids and their kids, and just, you know, really teaching the importance of, you know, why you should invest to the kids, I think, is the answer. Um, you know, I'm on my soapbox now. I am very passionate about this topic, so forgive me if I'm rambling. but I think it's an important conversation to have. I teach my son this, he likes music, and I made him research that person. You like a specific artist, you want to listen to songs with swears on them, I'm going to need you to understand what that means and why they came up with those lyrics and who they are as a person outside of on this, record. For whatever reason, I think, it really gives them a sense of value. I think it's missing in our communities, and that's just my 2 cents. I will shut it down now. I hope that this video has been empowering and is helpful. Um, if you have any questions, email me, leave comments. I'm open to talking, hearing what people have to say, advice. I don't proclaim to know everything. Um, I hope it was helpful. Peace.